Hey there, my name is Pravus. Welcome back to more Kingdoms Reborn in Skylands. We are almost at the 200 population milestone, which is great considering most of our neighbors are also around that rate. So this means that we have officially caught up to the AI, which is a very good sign when you are playing at a higher difficulty. We are currently terrorizing the shores, attacking all of these small little city-states and getting them to pay me some small amount of tribute, and I'm trying to establish some trade routes where possible. Alas and alack, though, you can't set up international trade routes with nations that are overseas. I've always thought that's a little bit weird. I feel like you ought to be able to place down like a dock and actually have these things connected, but somehow that's not possible. Anyway, I would love to go and vassalize a player over here just for fun, and Burka's not exactly in good shape. So they're a relatively easy target for me if that's something I'm interested in. For now, though, what I want to continue doing is building out our economy and our luxuries. We are making a lot of money in terms of taxation and sales here, but we're not quite stockpiling the amount we had before. I'm actually consuming so many of my resources that I'm not able to sell stuff off. So either I need to get more money production, or I need to become more self-sufficient in a few other ways. I also want to try experimenting with these irrigation pumps. So many of the really good luxury crops nowadays are so dependent on fertility that I'm kind of wondering if you can use irrigation pumps to get it over that little threshold you need in order to actually plant some of these things down. I'm hoping, maybe. Oh, there's the 200 people I was looking for. Hooray! Let's go ahead and start auto-importing small amounts of glass. I know we were just talking about not wanting to spend too much money importing things if we can avoid it, but it would be nice to go ahead and start getting some glass together, because I'm going to want to do a bunch of upgrades for my buildings, and some of them are relatively cheap. For example, only 2 glass is all it takes to upgrade a furniture workshop to the next age, and that gets an extra 5% work speed, which means you can just make more stuff to sell it. In other words, it pays for itself pretty darn quickly, so that's well worth it. So let's see, I'm going to go over to my tailors. Let's get these. Ooh, we actually can get the weaving machines up and running too. Right, I forgot. By conquering all these cities, we're actually getting a ridiculous amount of upgrade points. I didn't even notice this. 154? Well, goody. Okay, conquest is outstanding then. Turns out we can just go conquer everyone and make so many upgrade points, I can do whatever I want. This is great. Okay, I just tried something a little different that I don't think I've ever messed with before. So at your spy nest, you can conduct counterintelligence. You can also start developing steal, kidnap, and terrorism cards, which I hesitate to say because I don't want to trigger certain computer programs that might shut down my channel. But the point is, you can get cards. And it looks like this one basically just kills off citizens and makes them lose 1,000 gold. Uh-huh, okay. Well, theoretically speaking, less people means that they can sustain less units. So one could argue that this is a good thing to do to you. Oh, it didn't even work. Well, never mind. All right. You know what? It's totally harmless. If we're going to figure out our food situation, and that honestly would be one of the biggest things to boost up my economy right now, we need some more space. So I've bought this tile out over here, got plenty of money for it. Let's see if we can mess around with some irrigation pumps. We should be able to. But it's got to face fresh water. It's got to be along with the river. That's fine, though. What kind of fertility am I looking at naturally over here? So about 51%. We can definitely boost that up a lot if we're willing to have one of these set up, or maybe even 2 of them. I don't know. I think if I'm going to go on some massive conquest sprees, something I'm going to do is go ahead and buy out a new card. Standing Army or the Private Military. At the end of the day, I think Standing Army gives me the most immediate benefit, so this is the one I'll pick up. So let's do that there. So we're going to take this. I'm going to go to my capital. I'm actually going to remove the investment card. We're now making so much money that I don't think this is really worth much. It's only 100 extra gold. It's taking up a very valuable slot. We're going to go ahead and get rid of this and instead toss in the Standing Army. And the result is I should now be able to start training up a whole mess of units. And if I can at least have a few catapults knocking down some walls or something, well, that might be worth a bit. But I found a flaw in my plan. Hold on. Okay. If you don't have any melee units that are actually going to be covering for your catapults, the militia will target those, not the ships. Or at least they have a chance to target the catapults instead. So I just lost a couple of catapults, but that is some good testing. And it's not like I'm at risk of losing anything. All I lost was a couple thousand gold, so it's not a big deal. But that is very good to know. Anyway, let's get over here and take a look at some of the irrigation. This is taking too long. Quick build! There we go. See? Easy. All right, now we go over here and we can start placing down some irrigation ditches. Right along over them, y'all. And if I place it like this, for example, all it does is it costs me some money, but it should increase the fertility of this area, like that. So what kind of fertility am I looking at now? Hard to say exactly. How does it compare to a really fertile area? Okay, so it's still not quite in the 90% like area that I'd like. But it is better than the river was able to provide naturally. So simply by getting a bunch of these lined up, we can definitely get a massive amount of wheat farming going on over here, and then convert that into bread at a series of bakeries, and then distribute that throughout the rest of the city, solving my food issues, and maybe even letting me turn the beer brewing up another notch. Even more so if I place down a granary and a windmill in this area, which is going to boost up a ton of farming potential. Now, yes, the housing is too far away. We're going to have to build in this direction to really get the farming up and running, but this is going to be massive. I promise you. Absolutely huge. What's some tech that might be worth researching? I haven't touched anything for a while. Logistics, spies, no. Schools for extra science could be good, yeah. And then there's, of course, going to be sand, glass, coffee we can't quite do yet, but we will be able to soon. And then a theater for even more base quality service, so happiness goes up. Let's start with the school. Pick that up instantly. I don't suppose there's some new good units I can get? Ah, yes, a high HP frontline unit. That is exactly what I was looking for. Not to mention, if I'm insane, we could actually just go ahead and research things like machine guns right now. Good lord, really? Yeah, we could do that. All right, so let's go ahead and pop over to this poor impoverished nation over here who seems to be struggling oh so very horribly, and we will indulge them with my incredible governance. I'm gonna go ahead and conquer and vassalize. We will start by launching in the musketeers. Send them first, then reinforce with the longships to do damage there, followed by a couple of cannons, and we should see that we are going to start obliterating their walls. Might still lose a musketeer or two, simply because walls have ridiculous amounts of HP, like absolutely ludicrous. And we're also fighting with, you know, a 48% penalty, but nonetheless, we should be able to knock this sucker down. Yeah, see, we've almost knocked down the walls. We lost one musketeer out of the arrangement, and I'm pretty sure we're going to be able to crush the rest from there. All right, that's going to be one player down. Oh, yeah, there we go. All right, we've managed to conquer Mustafa Fahim. Hello, how you doing? Don't suppose that I could, like, give you something you're going to need in order to survive. Like, for example, your people seem really sick. What if I just gave you a whole bunch of medicinal herbs? All right, I'll give you, like, 50 of them or something. And then you also needed tools, right? What if I just give you some tools? I could give you a few tools. There. Here you go. Enjoy that. Perfect. All right. Let no one say that I am not a benevolent overseer. In reality, I'm just trying to help kickstart their economy so they can get back on their feet and start paying me tribute. Sometimes you gotta invest. I don't think that's actually how it works in this game, but it sounds good, doesn't it? Oh, good, they're already out of tools. Well, that didn't take long. Wonder if I can turn my attention to some other players. Borghild. Hi, how you doing? You look somewhat prosperous. I think you should serve me. Oh, but this does require only land cards. Admittedly, that does make this a little bit tougher. All right, you are spared for a brief moment. Uppsala. Yes, you will die instead. A little further away, which is a bit unfortunate, but again, they don't really have a whole lot of units, so I don't expect to lose more than 1 or 2 musketmen, and that's not a lot of money lost. Just a couple thousand gold in total. So over here, I am currently building out a huge number of farms. Let's hide all of the trees and bushes. All of this should be basically impacted by a granary and by a windmill, and I actually still have a little bit more room for more stuff over here if I need to. I might even need a second windmill, considering how much I should be able to start farming into this area. Very efficient. Lots and lots of food to be had. It's going to be great, and it can get even better if I want it to. And honestly, this is coming at a really good time because, as you notice here, we are very out of food. Very, very, verily are we out of food. Yeah, we need to start buying, like, a lot more at a time here to sustain ourselves just for a little bit longer. This is going to cost me a ton of money. But it's okay. We need it to survive. It would probably help if I turned off my immigration offices. We kind of have too many people. Some of you may die, but this is a sacrifice that I am willing to make. Wow, that is a lot of upkeep going around in our town. Holy crud. Yeah, it's gonna hurt, but there we go. We just bought a whole load of food, so we can keep everyone alive just for a bit longer. Come on, guys. I need you all over here. Yes, I know the housing is too far. What of it? We can fix that. Oh. I actually did manage to conquer these guys, and I wasn't even paying attention. Hooray, Uppsala, you are mine now. See, that's a lot more tribute. That's so much better than these guys. Come on, Burka, get your act together. Well, I hate to say it, but I actually think we've reached the end of the road for the Viking longship. Everything on the coast has been conquered by moi. Anything I can reach anyway. Everything else from here on out requires an official ground army. That makes me sad, because I like these longships, but if they're no longer going to do the job, let's go ahead and sell them and get our cash back. So with my new and improved ground army, I guess I better get over here and conquer these guys before they can build up any more meaningful troops. So 5 musketeers, 4 cannons. Honestly, that should be enough. Might lose 1 or 2 musketeers still, but the cannons are going to do a lot to take out some of these walls. So I still think we're going to be completely fine. I'm now producing about 2,000 science, by the way, per whatever season cycle, whatever thing this is, per round, I guess. The result is, if I want to, I now can go through a lot of my other old upgrades, such as farming techs, and just knock these out really, really fast. And by doing so, I got an extra like 15% farm productivity in practically no time at all. Yeah, some of these earlier game upgrades can actually be pretty darn lucrative. They don't take a lot of time, but they make you so much more efficient in everything else. I do want to get the industrial adjacency tech. Industrial buildings getting 5% efficiency for each nearby industry of the same type. This is one of the reasons you always try to cluster the same types of industry together, like furniture, like beer, etc. You can get some pretty nice bonuses. Let's go over to Rowan over here, see if we can vassalize these guys using one of my new machine guns. That should be easy. So we should just start doing lots of damage. Not the machine guns do more attack than a cannon exactly, but they do have a bit of extra HP, which can be nice in certain circumstances. And they definitely do a lot more damage than a single musketeer. One more player down and paying tribute to their rightful lord. That leaves only Hashstein over here, or Hashstein, however you say that, over here. Take these guys out, and I don't think these will be much more difficult than the past. Yeah, minus 52% distance. I've had worse, honestly. We should be able to just ignore this, and in just a little bit, we will have officially conquered every single player on the map, and that only leaves a handful of city-states in the inland that I'll have to worry about. Oh, and there we go. Fatima Hadid is Dunskies. All right, well, we've conquered the world, and it's not even the industrial age yet. That's how strong we get. Seriously, this is one of those games where when you really start to snowball, you really start to snowball. I'm looking forward to the other AI players at some point being a challenge for me, but all right. So this farming area is now up and running. We do have a windmill that I would like to start boosting. If I can get, let's say, a sustainability book in here, for example, reducing the amount of wheat that turns into flour can actually be very, very potent for me. So let me first take a look at some tech and see what else I might want to get. Hotels, no. Policy making, blah, 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 blah. Let's go ahead and pick up the sand mine. I'm going to go to this card area. I'm going to spend a bit of money to get a sustainability book and, let's say, a productivity book. I don't think motivation is going to help me, at least yet. It will be really good once I build my wonder, but that's not going to happen for a bit. But regardless, that reduces how much wheat we take in order to produce more flour. All right, so that's one efficiency increase. And then we've got our first bakery down over here, which takes some of that flour and turns it into bread. 17 flour, 62 bread. And we can make this even better. Heck, a motivation book actually over there is perfect. Let's go ahead and pick one of those up. Yes, I know it costs a lot of money. Whatever, it doesn't matter at this point. I'm rich. Click on this. Now it's 78 bread. Ugh, that's really good. And if we start buying some paper, well, then we'll start getting even more boosts. You know, something that could be very beneficial for me is the budget adjustment. This is where you can start increasing the upkeep of buildings, and you can start getting even more productivity out of them, or at the very least, maybe some extra happiness or something. So, for example, being able to spend more than 46 gold in upkeep in order to produce more bread might be well worth it. It usually is in a lot of your luxury buildings. Totally worth increasing the budget to get more efficiency. Now, the policy office is a new building I got to construct with some of that, and this I remember being really good as far as a way to sink some money to get stupidly strong. Spend money, get 3% extra production bonus for everything you make. Also, reduce the trade fee even further. Which actually means if you want to continue investing in a few things, we could probably get rid of the Companies Act card here. Eventually, that ends up being fine. But yeah, so let's see. What if we came over here? We don't care too much about I guess we could get some city attractiveness, but it's not that important. Get the economic hegemony, 1, 2. I mean, that's a 6% boost in everything I've ever made. Everything. I don't know. Eventually, that becomes stupidly good. So how are we looking as far as our harvest right now? I suspect we've got more wheat than I'm going to know what to do with. Yep, many hundreds of wheat coming in and still many, many more hundreds to be dropped off. Okay. We probably need to get another windmill, if I'm honest. I guess what we could do is go over here and just turn on some of these windmills. Yeah, we'll go ahead and turn this on. I had disabled these, but now it's okay. Because I was just trying to get a farming boost, now I actually need to start getting more flour. Amazingly, my food is actually looking like it's kind of getting back where it needs to be. That's great. Still not getting enough flour to make bread, but we actually seem to be... Yeah, we're producing some surplus of bread. It's getting consumed pretty darn quickly, but the more bakeries we stack on, the better this gets. This is starting to work. You know something I'd like to experiment with a little bit in terms of food? I'd like to go ahead and try messing with this deep sea fishing thing over here. Whoops. I managed to conquer somebody else. Yeah, I want to try finding out how tuna work, because we see the sources of tuna out over here, for sure. But how does one get it? I don't know. It's a new resource. Never messed with it before. Anyway, while that's getting built, we have now upgraded not only the technology for the budget, but also for work schedule, and this is where the two working together can become pretty good. So you increase the work hours, and yeah, you start increasing that productivity, but notice, of course, that the happiness goes down. But if you're willing to pay a fair chunk of extra budget, you can get it right back up to where it was before, and oh, lo and behold, I'm now producing 101 bread out of only 11 wheat flour. That's pretty good, and guess what we're going to do? We're going to boost it up even further using some paper. Boom. And, oh, I don't have enough paper for that one, but that's going to be another 10%. We're going to go up to like 122-ish or so bread for every 11 flour. Yeah, that's so unbelievably stupidly good. So right now I'm literally going through pretty much all of my luxury buildings, and I'm just going to go ahead and do this. Does this mean that my upkeep is going way, way up? Yes. Is that going to cost me a ton of money? Yes. But if I'm able to get so much more production out of this stuff, oh man, it easily pays for itself. Like, I don't care if this upkeep goes down, because trade is going to start pulling in thousands and thousands and thousands of gold every cycle. It's going to be insane, trust me. Oh, there we go. Okay, we do have our deep sea fishing port. I'll go ahead and boost that up with a little bit of extra money for some happiness. We can upgrade you for sure. We can boost up some productivity here. We can get you some extra worker slots, I guess, and that's fine. And then we need a lot of stone tools, and a lot of them to boost this up even further. So, deep sea tuna, huh? Is there anything that boosts up its efficiency? Is that a thing? Or am I crazy? I don't know how you're supposed to tell whether we're within range of anything. Like, if I place some of these deep sea fishing areas over here, closer to the tuna, does that make it better? I don't know. Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe you can place them anywhere on the ocean. And as long as tuna exists somewhere out here, they'll find it. I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and buy this grasslands over here, and let's plan on placing down our great long haul. Now, this is going to cost me a lot of materials, especially bricks, very expensive. But by placing it, we are going to be getting ourselves an extra 10% happiness for every job worked in the city. That strikes me as pretty darn consequential, especially since it goes so well with a lot of motivation books. So let's go ahead and place you, let's say, over here, because I like beautifying the area with some shrubs and stuff, sue me. And this is going to take me a while to purchase enough bricks for this to actually work, but eventually, we're going to have our first wonder. Let's also go ahead and move up over here, and we're going to purchase this province and this province. There we go. So, cannabis, yeah, I'll go ahead and grow it over in this general area. Should be fine. Don't really care about getting rid of the animal hovel. So we'll do this. And then over here, I think I am going to try placing down some coffee, because I've got a couple of coffee roaster cards, and that's going to be another lovely tier 2 luxury for me. So coffee breeder, that's what I want. It's only 960 gold. That's practically nothing. My gosh, I think I could actually afford to buy 2 things over here if I wanted to. All right, hang on. So we get some coffee. Do I want to double up on it, or maybe get something else? How about some cocoa? Yeah, okay. Let's go ahead and also start making some chocolate. But you can only have 1 provincial building per province regardless of how large the meadows are. That sucks. All right, just get rid of it then. Sell it back. Right, okay, if that's the case, then you want to place this where it has the absolute most value, and that's going to end up being probably right about here. Ah, man, and here I thought I'd cracked the code. Getting a third bakery up and running because it looks like we're actually producing more wheat flour than I'm currently able to bake. So that means we need to increase our baking capacity. And getting up to 4 of these would actually be great. Let's get some upgrades there. Spend a bit of paper. Boost this up to 122 like I was talking about. Yeah. A 4th one just means these are even going to be better. Holy crud. And we're still not done with this longhouse. We finally spent all of my lumber, which is great because I kind of was starting to run out pretty badly. Now I'm just waiting on bricks. Lots and lots of bricks. Or I could just spend my money to immediately finish it. But like, nah, why do that? Actually, wait a minute. Why do you do that? The answer's pretty obvious. Because that 10% extra happiness is going to translate into productivity across the board in many, many areas. And if I'm going to be buying all the bricks anyway, there's no difference really than just buying them and paying a small fee now. I got the money. Let's finish it. Boom! Great longhouse is built for the Vikings. 10% extra happiness, huh? Yup, we're up to 100%, and now we're producing 137 bread over here. Oh, yeah, that's pretty great. 26 beer over here, yeah. Yeah, these are the kinds of things you'll like to see. This basically means that productivity books are never worth it anymore. Motivation books are the only thing that's going to matter for me. And it is also worth noting that as of this exact moment now, I have officially conquered every single player and city-state on the planet, which means I am the undisputed ruler of all of humanity. All right. With that, I actually don't really need my army anymore. I'm gonna go ahead and disband, at least let's say the cannons. I don't need these anymore. And we could get rid of the standing army card if we want to as well. That's no longer necessary. Huzzah. You might just say that I have ushered in a new era of peace and prosperity for my new empire. My new empire. I like the sound of that. All right, so food is finally under control. Trade is looking great. We're making stupid amounts of money again. Even on top of the taxes, we're making stupid amounts of money. I've got all the upgrade points I could ever want since I conquered the entire world, so we can upgrade every piece of industry I'm ever going to own. We have our first wonder, and we are about to expand into another tier 1 and tier 2 luxury. Yeah, I would say we're doing pretty well, actually. We're doing pretty darn well, and now I don't even have to worry about other players. I can simply sit back and play SimCity mode. That's totally fine for us. So what's the next big goal? Getting up to the industrial age, which means 80 houses at level 6. We're well on our way to that, but that is going to be the next big goal, and once we're in the industrial age, we finally unlock all the top tier buildings in the game. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video of Kingdoms Reborn. If so, I would humbly ask that you hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, make sure you hit that notify bell, and I will see you guys next time.